You ever find yourself staring at, I don't know, a pile of articles, maybe a dense report, or even like a classic novelization, just wish someone could cut to the chase, give you the really juicy bits, those moments that just click.
Yeah, the aha moments. Well, that's exactly what we're aiming for today.
We are diving deep into a story that's got, well, everything. Sci-fi adventure, loads of twists, and some really quite deep personal stuff.
That's right. Our focus for this deep dive is Doctor Who, Planet of Fire. It's the novelization by Peter Grimwade, based, of course, on that classic BBC TV serial.
And the source material we've got is just packed. There's this whole complex story laid out. Yeah. A holiday that doesn't quite go to plan.
Oh, definitely not. Then there's a mysterious object, this planet literally on fire, and a big struggle with a very old enemy.
So our mission really is to pull out the most important bits of knowledge, the key insights, help you understand not just what happens, but like why it actually matters.
Exactly. We're not just recounting the plot. We want to dig into the connections, the significance. What can you actually take away from this story?
Get ready for a bit of a journey then. Intrigue, discovery, and hopefully a few of those satisfying aha moments we were talking about. Okay, so let's get into it. The story kicks off with the Doctor and Turlough, right? And the Doctor's in a bit of a stake.
Yeah, he's unusually down, still really feeling the departure of Tegan, his last companion. You don't often see him quite so introspective.
He seems genuinely low. And Turlough, who's also carrying his own stuff, clearly feeling a bit off. He suggests a holiday.
The classic Paradise Island idea, trying to lift the mood.
But what does this initial setup, this low mood, tell us? Where might this be going?
Well, I think it sets a really crucial emotional tone, doesn't it? The Doctor being vulnerable, it suggests things aren't going to be straightforward.
Right. It cracks that usual unflappable image a bit.
And Turlough immediately reaching for paradise, well, that screams escape, doesn't it? It tells you he's got baggage he wants to ditch.
So it's not just a fun trip. It's more like they're seeking refuge.
Definitely. Seeking solace. But, it gets interrupted pretty quick.
And how? Before you can even imagine the beach, there's this absolutely chilling scream. Comes right from inside the TARDIS. And it's not human.
It's Kamelion, the Doctor's shape-shifting robot pal, who, let's remember, has history with the Master.
Yeah, the source paints a picture. Spread-eagled on the floor, his silver limbs tense. He's screaming, "Pain!" And then contact must be made.
Apparently, he'd somehow linked himself to the TARDIS computer, and it caused this derangement in the robot's own brain.
That sounds more than just a glitch, though. It feels almost like something's taken him over.
That's what's striking, isn't it? The derangement. It feels directed, purposeful, like the pain isn't random.
And while all this is happening, Turlough's trying to help, but he hears something else.
Yeah, on the TARDIS comms unit, an urgent repeating modulation, and he knows it instantly.
A Trion distress call.
Bingo! And you can just feel his panic. He thinks it's his persecutors, the custodians hunting him down.
He gets really frantic trying to shut it off before the Doctor traces it. It's a huge red flag, right?
Massive. It speaks volumes about his paranoia, about this past he's terrified will catch up with him. We definitely get the sense there's a lot more to Turlough's story.
Okay, so inside the TARDIS, chaos. Distressed Doctor, panicked Turlough, screaming robot, weird distress call. But then the story cuts away.
Right, totally different scene. We're on Earth. Looks like a nice, calm island.
And we meet Perpi Gilliam Brown, Peri. She's American, stepdaughter to an archaeologist, Professor Foster.
And the professor finds something interesting during his dive. Pulls it up from an old Greek merchant shipwreck.
Describes it as a dumpy cylinder with its mushroom-shaped head, and it's made of this weird metal, a hard, bright alloy unknown to him.
Crucially, it's got these symbols engraved on it. 2 triangles, one half laid over the other.
The professor just writes it off, though. No archaeological value. But Peri, well, she gets accidentally stranded on the boat.
Yeah, her stepdad kind of leaves her behind in frustration.
And she pockets the cylinder. Just like that. How does this random find connect back to the TARDIS drama?
That's the clever bit, isn't it? Pure dramatic irony. Turlough's desperately trying to hide from a Trion signal.
And Peri's just found a Trion beacon.
Exactly. The universe, or maybe something else, is pulling these threads together. It feels deliberate.
And back in the TARDIS, Kamelion seems to recover, but he's weirdly calm about it all.
Yeah, it gives the Doctor these really bland, kind of indifferent answers about his confusion. It's almost too smooth, too robotic even for him.
Suspicious.
And the Doctor notices something else. The TARDIS coordinates They've been reset, not by him, not by Turlough,
By Kamelion.
by Kamelion. And guess where they're set for?
Turlough's Paradise Island.
Precisely. It's a big clue, maybe the first concrete one, that Kamelion isn't himself. He's being controlled. He's a puppet.
And the puppet master is waiting in the wings.
So everything's converging now. The TARDIS, guided by Kamelion, lands right on that island where Peri is.
And then Turlough ends up rescuing Peri from drowning. She still has the cylinder, of course.
And Turlough sees it, his heart thudding, the description says. He knows it immediately. A Trion data beacon.
But it's not just the beacon itself that hits him, is it?
No, it's the symbol, those overlapping shapes of the Mesos triangle, the exact same mark that's branded on his own arm.
He calls it his stigma, the sign of humiliation and disgrace. What does that triangle actually mean for Trions? It sounds serious.
Oh, it's huge. It's not just like a criminal record. It's a physical brand, a public mark of being an outcast, a traitor maybe, or just fundamentally wrong by their society's standards.
So it defines you.
Completely. It means losing everything. Status, respect. It explains Turlough's paranoia, why he ran. He's been living under the shadow of that stigma for years, and now it's right there, staring him in the face.
Wow, okay. And things really kick into high gear after that. Back in the TARDIS, Kamelion's left alone for a bit.
And drops the act. First, he takes on Professor Foster's appearance, then reveals his true controller to Peri. The Master. He explains, quite chillingly, how he'd been transfusing so freely with the TARDIS intelligence systems. Basically, he'd used Kamelion's connection to turn the robot into his puppet via this metamorphosis projector.
But Peri doesn't just freeze. She reacts.
She does. She's incredibly quick-witted. She grabs this vital component, a comparator, right off the TARDIS console before she bolts.
Leaving the TARDIS dead in the water, basically. Temporarily, anyway. That's pretty bold for her first encounter.
It really establishes her, doesn't it? She's not passive. She's got agency. She's smart. She acts decisively under pressure. A great introduction for a companion.
And it shows the Master's cunning, too, twisting the Doctor's own ally against him.
Absolutely. And now, with Kamelion fully under his thumb, the Master steers the TARDIS somewhere truly awful.
Sarn, described as a terrifyingly beautiful planet of fire.
Which, we learn, is actually an old Trion penal colony, not exactly a holiday spot.
And the locals, the Sarns, they live under this really oppressive system, based on superstition.
Yeah, ruled by this guy, Chief Elder Timanoff. He believes in Logar, Lord of the Fire Mountain, uses fear to control everyone.
And performs these awful burnings, human sacrifices, basically to keep Logar happy. It sounds like a society completely gripped by fear.
It's fascinating, though, the commentary there. Timanoff is using fear, tradition, maybe some misunderstood tech to hold on to power. Pure manipulation.
But some people aren't buying it.
Right. You have the unbelievers, Omion, Roskell, Sarasta. They're actually challenging Timanoff, even climbing the volcano to prove there is no Logar.
That's brave.
It's the spark of reason against dogma. And then there's Malkin. He's the chosen one, but he's hesitant, full of doubt.
And he also has the Mesos triangle mark.
Exactly, which immediately connects him straight back to Turlough.
This is where Turlough's past just comes crashing down, isn't it?
Completely. The Doctor and Turlough figure out Sarn's history, a Trion penal colony for dissidents.
And Turlough starts seeing bits of Trion tech around. Stuff the Sarns think is part of Logar's fire.
But it's actually pieces of a crashed Trion ship. And then comes the bombshell.
Malkin. He's Turlough's brother.
His brother, both branded with the Mesos triangle. Not necessarily for crimes, but because of the political chaos back on Trion.
And the crashed ship. The Fire Mountain.
It's their father's ship. He was exiled here. This whole planet is Turlough's buried history.
It just reframes everything about him. His exile, the fear. It wasn't random.
No, it was tied to a civil war. His father's fate. His own forced exile to Earth for 10 years. Sarn forces him to face the source of all that shame and running. The triangle becomes a symbol of political persecution, not just personal failing.
And meanwhile, the Master has his own agenda on Sarn.
Oh, yeah. He's got big plans. Remember, he got shrunk by his own TCE device.
The tissue compression eliminator, yeah. Shrinks people. Nasty bit of kit.
Well, he needs Kamelion to get back to normal size, but he also needs something from Sarn's volcano, this stuff called numismaton.
It shows up as a blue flame, described as a rare catalytic reagent with healing power. What's he wanted for?
He thinks it can infinitely extend his 14th incarnation. Basically, cheat death. Get a massively prolonged life, maybe even immortality.
Classic Master.
Yeah.
Always aiming high. But Peri's still in the mix, right? She doesn't just disappear.
Not at all. She's trapped. The Master's threatening her with the TCE, but she fights back mentally, uses her willpower to confuse Kamelion, which gives her a chance to escape.
And she gave that comparator part she stole to Turlough earlier.
She did, which proves vital later. She's consistently resourceful, actively involved. Her impact is huge.
How so? How vital is her interference?
Well, grabbing the comparator directly messed with the Master's control, slowed him down. It bought crucial time. Carrie's bravery creates openings.
Then the Doctor figures out the Kamelion situation.
Yes, he knows the Master is pulling the strings, so he starts planning how to counter it, probably realizing he needs to turn the Master's own methods back on him.
And this leads to understanding the truth about Sarn's beliefs.
Exactly. The Doctor finds the Sarn's sacrificial cave, and guess what? It's not for sacrifices at all.
What is it then?
It's a curative center, built by the original Trion colonists to harness that numismaton gas safely.
So the blue flame they feared, the one demanding sacrifices,
is actually healing. It's benevolent power.
Wow.
The Doctor turns on the gas flow, the blue flame appears, and it heals Malkan and the other 6 Sarns. Instantly proves the unbelievers right.
That must have shattered Timonov's control.
Completely. It replaces fear and superstition with scientific proof of something beneficial, a massive moment of enlightenment for the whole planet.
Which leads us to the big finale, the showdown.
Deep inside the volcano in the seismic control center, Doctor versus the Master, who's still working through Kamelion.
And the Doctor has a plan, but it sounds pretty drastic.
It is. He uses some rigged device, gives Kamelion an electronic heart attack, basically.
Ouch.
And then, well, he has to make a terrible choice. He uses the Master's own TCE weapon on Kamelion.
He destroys the robot to stop the Master.
He does. The source says he does it with a heavy heart. It's portrayed as a tragic necessity. The Doctor tried to save Kamelion, free him.
But in the end, destroying him was the only way to break the Master's hold and stop him regenerating or escaping.
It's a really heavy moment. Shows the Doctor's compassion, but also the tough calls he has to make. A sacrifice, really.
And what about Turlough? How does his story wrap up?
His arc really comes full circle. He uses that data key from his father's ship to contact Trion Control, manages to arrange a rescue for the Sarns.
But wasn't he terrified of the Trion authorities, the custodians?
He was, deeply. But he finds out things have changed back home. The political situation that caused his family's downfall isn't the same.
So he's not necessarily still considered an enemy.
It seems not. Or at least the situation is different enough for him to make a choice, a really brave choice.
He decides to go back.
He does. He chooses to return to Trion with his brother Malkan. Instead of running, he confronts his past, embraces his identity, accepts responsibility. It's a huge step.
It really is. This whole deep dive has taken us through so much. Deception, science being mistaken for godlike power.
And huge personal growth. Amazing how a simple holiday idea could unravel all this history, all these hidden truths. Not just about Sarn, but about Turlough himself.
Yeah, the Sarn story is such a powerful example of how belief can be twisted, manipulated.
And how vital it is to question things, to seek the actual truth. That courage leads to revelation, even healing, like with the numismaton.
And Turlough's journey.
Oh, wow.
From being this haunted exile, terrified of his past, terrified of the custodians.
To making that incredibly hard choice, to face it all head on, reclaim his identity, stand with his brother. It's real redemption.
He found a future he chose, not one he was forced into by fear.
Exactly. Built on truth, on agency. It's incredibly powerful.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? When you're faced with tons of information or maybe just really strong beliefs, things you've always been told,
Yeah.
how do you actually sort out what's real, what's factual versus what's just a story, right? Or maybe a manipulation?
That's a great question, and maybe digging deeper. How often do we need to do what Turlough did? Confront our own hidden histories, our own personal mesos triangles, whatever they might be.
Right. Not just understand where we came from, but to actually move forward authentically, even if the future feels uncertain.
Definitely something to mull over. What hidden marks might you be carrying, just waiting to be understood, so you can truly choose your own path forward?